We will base our discussion on the beginning of Matthew chapter 5 verses 13 and 14. You are the salt of the earth, you are the light of the world. These two phrases are some of Jesus' most well-known teachings, mentioned in various other places in the New Testament in the Gospels and the Epistles. What do they mean? Why would Jesus refer to his followers as salt and light? In this video I'll explain what I believe is the message Jesus is preaching. We will start with verse 13, you are the salt of the earth. In the ancient world, the time of Jesus and the Apostles, salt was a valuable item. It was used to season food and also preserve food for personal and industrial storage and industrial transportation. The idea of seasoning food is talked about in the rest of verse 13, which says, But if the salt has become tasteless, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. What does Jesus mean by this saying? How does it relate to his followers? I believe that Jesus is telling his followers they should always be pushing for God's kingdom to come to earth, and being the driving force in making this so. Mark chapter 9 verses 49 adds to this saying, For everyone will be salted with fire. There was also another way the ancient world used salt. They used it as a catalyst to burn fuel in an earthen oven, an oven common at the time. This continues to paint the idea of Jesus' followers being the fuel, like the salt in the oven, of bringing God's kingdom in this age in anticipation of the age to come. We will continue with verse 14, You are the light of the world. The idea of light is used about God the Father, Jesus and Christians throughout both the Old and New Testaments. To me it seems light in reference to God is pointing to hope and security, turning to him in times of trouble. As seen in Micah chapter 7 verse 8, Psalms 19 verse 105 and Psalms 27 verse 1. With Jesus it's also salvation, plus change too, as seen in John chapter 12 verse 36 to 37 and John chapter 8 verse 12. For Christians, let's first look at the remainder of Matthew chapter 5 verse 14, along with verses 15 and 16. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a blanket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I believe these three verses point to the fact that followers of Jesus should be the example setters of how you should behave in your day-to-day life, using the teachings of Jesus and the laws given to Moses to frame your moral compass and direct your thoughts and behaviour. This draws others into God's kingdom, seeing the joy, peace and love it brings, shining into the darkness, and showing them this new way of life. What does Jesus mean by the phrases salt of the earth and light of the world? I believe Jesus pairing these two ideas together shows us that we should be setting the example for others to follow, showing the beauty of God's kingdom, shining a light in the darkness. As we do so, we should make sure to keep it exciting not only for others but also for ourselves, keeping that fire burning, radiating a love for God, and at least leading some people to a life only Jesus can provide.